Hi guys, so it's Dale again with Triple F Firearms. I want to finish up this series of fun with guns. Most of my videos I've spent the greatest amount of time talking about failure to feed, or excuse me, failure to eject issues with not having enough gas and all of that. You can look at some of those videos. But today I want to talk to you about the very first situation you're going to have. There's two main problems with any semi-automatic firearm: failure to feed and failure to eject. And I just want to touch base with the ejection one last time, just to remind you that when it comes to a shotgun shell, it's one of the few rounds that is longer when it ejects. You know, this is a 30-06 when it goes in your chamber. This is a 30-06 when it comes out. All of that bullet is, of course, missing. This is a 12-gauge shotgun. This is how it goes into your chamber, but when it comes out, now it's longer. So failure to eject is a compounded problem. The number one thing is the gas. I've preached all of my videos about feeding it enough gas to get it to cycle. But you have to also, like I said, remember that when it comes to shotgun shells, they're one of the only rounds that exits the firearm longer than when it started. So this blunt nose shot shell, okay, with these magazine fed guns, has to go up this feed ramp and into your barrel. And the feed ramp is of utmost importance. That's this little guy right here, okay? And you got to remember, that's all the more travel that shot shell's getting to get into that chamber. So you've got this little short span of travel from when this magazine is sitting up in there to where that shot shell has to make it into your chamber. So these feed ramps are of utmost importance. This is an old MKA. Back when they first started, this feed ramp is solid. It doesn't move. So they're getting in the way of disassembly of the firearm. And I'm going to try and get up close. You can see this one's all chewed up. Okay. It's got all kinds of gurs and bings and dings on it from the bolt slamming against it mostly. Okay. That's why they went ahead on these newer guns and they have a lever that turns that feed ramp down out of the way. So a couple of things I wanted to show you. I'm going to zoom in here, get stood up and do a little disassembly instruction at the same time. But when it comes to the aluminum framed guns, that feed ramp remains solid now again. It doesn't tilt out of the way. It's made out of aluminum, mind you, and it's a whole lot more stout, less chance of it breaking, but they don't move out of the way for disassembly anymore. You've got to keep be aware of this feed ramp and how smooth it needs to be in order for your flat, stubby-nosed shot shell to make it up that little ramp and then into your chamber. So these feed ramps are of uber importance. Now, I've talked, like I said, in all my videos about ejection, but you go out there, you get your brand new shotgun, you put your magazine in there, you hit that back bolt release, and it don't go in the chamber. Well, you got a feed ramp problem, most likely. Okay, so well, I really love the aluminum framed guns. You have to protect that feed ramp. So, okay, I'm going to move the camera around a little bit here and try and show you some disassembly at the same time. So what I have here is I've got two main styles of shotguns. Okay. Almost every gun coming out of Turkey now is either one of these two types of design. You either have a gun that has an operating rod that runs under the barrel, in which your gas system is mounted on, or you have a gun in which the gas system has been moved up around the barrel. Okay, so there's no rod that sticks out from the gun. Now for you guys wanting to know, so this is a Gen 4 Panzer. This is the stock that I would cut off, okay? And all of your solid polymer guns are going to be like this, guys. So, you know, most of them are going to have some form of a screw in the grip area, and you got to get that grip off, okay? Remember now, this is still attached here, and the bolt that holds your upper and lower together is way down in there. So you're going to have an extension to get down in there to that bolt, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a socket head cap screw. So this is a 6mm Allen head that goes down in there and gets that bolt. Okay, now on my guns, of course, I build stock adapters. So that's my stock adapter. It bolts into the upper just like this would have with that stock on there, because the bolts are way down in there. So when you go to take these things apart, okay, get rid of that shroud. And if you don't like them shrouds, I have a nut that I make to replace those shrouds. I personally am not a big shroud fan. Anyway, so the handguards come off of there. And don't fret over this stuff. It's just a little plate in there that holds your slings bracket in place. It's just trapped in that little T-slot. You can always know which way this one goes in, because that ball detent right there is only on one side, and that's what the pattern in that shroud got, the little detents there. So that's what tightens up against that. All right, so some of you guys have bought my bolt charging handle. There's a little slot in here. You have to push that back just a little bit. You can see how that, let's see if I can get up here. You can see how that thing moves just a little bit until that slot lines up to where you can pull that bolt handle out of there. Okay? Now, once that bolt handle is pulled out of there, you really don't have to take this stuff here off. This is for your gas piston and all of that. But if you're just trying to separate the upper and lower, this is the nut you're going to go after. You're going to unscrew this nut. Using a little wrench that they gave you. Mine are all finger tight because I'm doing it for this video, okay? But okay, so you unscrew all of that. I've got my bolt handle taken out, and I've also got my feed ramp knob turned. You can look in there and see the feed ramp laying down inside there, okay? So it's out of the way for all of this stuff to come up out of there, okay? And that whole assembly will come right out, okay? So now you have your two pieces, okay? And these just pop apart because it's unbolted now. And there you have it. All right. And as I mentioned, this system has the gas pistons up around the barrel. There's your bolt. So there's only basically two styles coming out of turkey. The style where the gas system is up around the barrel that I just showed you. Or, now this is the Typhoon X11. It's got a little nut then that sits below the barrel. Those handguards come off. And as I told you, now this gun has this operating rod that is mounted below the barrel, and that's where your gas system is now, okay? So it's got a nut on it that unscrews off of both of those threaded sections. Don't try and take this thing apart because it don't come apart, okay? The bolt from my thing. So the barrel comes on out, and this is a brand new gun, so it's in there. Okay, so then the bolt or the barrel will slide out of this gun, and then the rest of the stuff slides off of that operating rod, so that the operating rod is just sticking out there. One of the reasons I wanted to, there's my adapter. One of the reasons I wanted to show you this Typhoon because notice there's no little lever for the feed ramp. These guys have a like a reverse spring. See if I can show you. And when you push the magazine in the gun, it pushes that feed ramp up. But in its natural position, it's down out of the way so that you can slide that bolt carrier out of there. Well, that one's kind of neat. But once again, it's just a solid piece of plastic, and that feed ramp is what you're relying on to get that shotgun shell to go up and into your chamber. So it is again of utmost importance. This one's so chewed up that a shot shell won't even go up that ramp. Now you can fix it a little bit. I've just got a call from a guy who's got one that's broken, and he's wanting me to try and make a replacement one. But you see how they fold up and down on the Panzers, and there's a lot of different ones like that that are making them so that they fold down out of the way now, because people would try to drive all that stuff out when it was a solid like this MKA, and they just chewed the thing up, or broke a tang off, or did whatever. But you really gotta comprehend the fact that you've got a very flat-nosed, blunt shot shell trying to make it up that little ramp and into your chamber. So this ramp is just as important for getting the shot shell into your gun as the gas is for getting the expanded chamber hull out of your gun. These are extremely, extremely important. The two number one things: failure to feed, failure to eject. And the failure to eject we talked about with all the gas and all of that. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. If you do want to take this, one last thing, if you do want to take these apart, these are you use those two little wrenches that they send to you with the gun. and it, you know, it's righty tighty, lefty loosey, and inside there is a set of C-rings, and they'll come out, and all of this stuff will come off, and you can take the bolt and all of that out. Okay, but it comes out as one solid unit. You don't have to take this off unless you're ready to clean gas ports and stuff like that. Okay? I mean, it's best if you're going to do the barrel too, I suppose. But anyway, I wanted to finish that up with you guys. I think that's going to be the end of the series of the fun with guns. I'm going to try and do some more instructional stuff at a later date. It's no longer with the fun with guns thing. I need my whiteboard, so I think that's it. Feed ramp, super important. Gas, equally as important. Feed it well and take good care of that ramp, because if you don't, it's the only shoehorn you have for getting the round out of the magazine, up that 1-inch tall ramp, and into your chamber. That's all I got to say about that, guys.